Tell Eric that if he wanted to be on the podcast, all he had to do was ask.
Right. We've offered these boys an opportunity to be on the podcast,
Zach
and they
would
just
like it for
scoff.
sure.
I know, Zach would love it. I mean, he's essentially an employee at this point. Like, he's in the marketing videos. He's got his own TikTok dedicated
Yes, he
to
did make his
you.
own TikTok.
Unbelievable. The
Yeah.
We really
dedication.
gotta watch what we say about friends and family because my mom also called me out. She's like, you guys talking about your gray hairs and saying, oh, when I'm old and in my 50s, I'll let it go gray. And I was like, oh.
I'm pretty sure we said 60s, but okay.
I don't know.
I feel like
say old. I'd say run it back. Like maybe we said
Yeah.
when we were way older. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
fair.
guys.
I could be spilling my deepest, darkest family secrets on here, and the people around me would have no fucking clue. I guess now it's turned into a competition, I think, of like with Taylor especially, where he's like, well, now I've gone this long without listening to an episode. Now it's a bit. So I can't cave
bit.
now. I know, but yeah, regardless. But
Well,
happy
I feel
Wednesday.
like
It's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday.
this week it is Tuesday. I feel like this week my mom was like, you guys talk about cutting things out of the podcast a lot and then you don't do it. She's like, I think it's really funny.
I think that's like a
Every
podcast canon
podcast
event.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it made me feel, I was like, that makes me feel kind of legit, first of all. But second of all, it's just because I don't listen through the entire thing all the time anymore.
Yeah.
I like make mental notes of where I need to cut, and then I'm like, we're good.
I was going to say, after the conversation, you like, no, I said this stupid thing. We can cut that. Like, it's like, after you record the pod, what you want to cut, usually. I've only had one special request to you to like, hey, did we confirm that was removed?
I want to know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what it was. All it was a reference that like Alex didn't get. So there was no point in it making the podcast. It was just not.
And it would have had to be censored. Although it is funny. I was talking to a client about a Vine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a client about it this week, and they knew exactly the Vine I was talking about. They said it before, and I was like, yep, it's funny.
My delivery was horrible too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have to know. I'm so curious if I know.
Yeah, after the pod, we'll circle back on that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Don't make me cut it out.
Forgive me. I feel like I already forgot what we were planning on talking about today.
Trends.
But also,
trends. I wanted to like dying over I don't know what's wrong with my throat right now, so I'm gonna cough. Hold on.
Is it allergies?
I was gonna mute and then I didn't. That was awful. I'm sorry.
I mean, I was asking a question. I'm sorry. But okay, but while she's coughing,
my gosh,
I heard that two things I heard about allergies this year. Number one, that they're especially horrible this year. Everyone's struggling extra hard. And number two, the reason why we struggle so hard with allergies is because for some reason we have decided that we plant male varietals of trees and they produce more pollen than female varietals of trees. And that is why allergies continue to get worse and worse, is because all these male trees. It's always patriarchy.
It's always the men.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I found that out as a fun fact the other day. But do you have allergies?
That.
Oh my God, Az, she's dying again. I
have
sorry.
allergies. I have noticed this season, like I can't leave the house without a tissue which I feel like normally I don't really notice my allergies.
My little niece, who's under 1 year old, they think she might have been struggling with her sinuses when they were in Arizona for some reason. I was like, oh no, poor babies.
Every time I come off mute, I have to cough again. I think I don't really know what's going on with mine. I don't think it's allergy. It's just like a dry spot that I can't get rid of. But what I was going to say before we jump into everything, this is something that we've gotten far away from, but anybody have a win they want to share this week? Only because I have one that sort of relates to what we talked about last week.
Kick us off, then.
Yeah, you kick it off.
Okay, my win that's business related and also not business related is last week we made a last minute impulse decision to go to the Pistons game. And unfortunately they lost.
Yeah.
But Eric kind of brought it up casually as we were on a walk. I think it was the day before. And I was like, that'd be fun. And he's like, are you actually considering this? And we kind of had a moment where we were like, I'm serious. Are you serious? Like, are you serious? I'm serious about like just making the decision to go. And I was like, well, I'd have to reschedule a bunch of clients and da-da-da-da. And I had this thought after we decided to go of part of what I love about being a business owner is like the controlling your own schedule and having a flexible schedule. And just actually utilizing that for once
Yes.
felt
Yeah.
nice. Like,
This is why we do this.
yeah, I was like, this, it wasn't like I didn't put anybody out. I was able to reschedule everybody and like within 3 days of the missed sessions. It was like not even a big deal. People were probably like, yay, I get a Friday morning at 5 a.m. off. Like,
Well, a Friday workout especially. It'd be nice to just like, okay, done. Phone that in.
right. Like people probably didn't care at all. And it's all like in my head. But I was like, what is the point of having a schedule I make myself if I can't utilize it for things like that every once in a while? So that felt like a win.
That
That
is
is
a
a
win.
win.
That's actually, I just made a TikTok yesterday of, I was having the same vein of that thought of like, yes, being an entrepreneur is really hard, but the way I phrased it is like, I live my version of a perfect day all the time, like where I get to choose what I do with my day. I get a slow morning with my daughter. I get to go and create art, and then I get to like go and chill at home. I just like, or like wander around the city. Like that's all a part of my job, or even shopping, like stuff like that. Like it's all a part of what I get to do. And it's so fun that like from day to day, I do get to live my version of a perfect day. And I feel like that's really fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's a bit, do you guys think it would be an interesting episode to do like, not pros and cons, but just like comparisons of our day to day lives in corporate versus like small business? Not like going through a day in the life, but just like the benefits of each, or just like what we miss and what we like now better.
Yeah.
Just a
I think it'd be fun.
comparison.
yeah, I do. I think that would be good.
Because
Yeah.
of course there's like little things I miss about my old life, but overall I feel like I really enjoy the life of being an entrepreneur. My win, sorry, just keep going on this here.
Continue.
I'm doing a styled shoot in Detroit this week, which is
Ooh.
awesome. At my actual dream location. Like if you would have asked me, Allie, if you could shoot anywhere in downtown Detroit, where would you shoot? I would have named this place. And for some,
Where?
it's
Yeah.
called the Candy Bar, and it's pink. It's
Yep.
sick. I
It's
mean,
beautiful.
it's freaking stunning. And it's in this other really gorgeous hotel. It's called the Siren Hotel, which they actually have like some locations around the United States. They're all known for their like almost like maximalist design. Very beautiful. And yeah, so like literally I happened to get connected with a fellow wedding photographer who had connections to this restaurant, and I was like, I'm thinking about doing a styled shoot. Here's where I would love to have it, but I'm not as like familiar with the area, and like I haven't networked with the business owners myself and stuff. And she goes, oh, I know that person, they'd be totally down. And
That's so nice.
I was just like, oh my god. So I'm stoked. It's gonna be amazing. And I'm working with a
That place looks
florist who
beautiful.
so cool. It's so cool. It's like
I gotta look
pink.
it up.
It's
So
like
I might
it's gonna be
take note.
very
yeah.
fun, very colorful. All the things I love. But yeah, it's gonna be, and it's in Detroit. I feel like I've been waiting for this for a long time. So I'm very
were gonna-
very excited.
I just looked at the pictures. It's beautiful.
Isn't it
Pretty fun.
beautiful? We were gonna stop in there for something because it's not like you walk in and you're right there. I think you have to go through the hotel. And we were I forget what we were dressed for, but not the occasion, let me tell you, because we walked in and we were like, and we were immediately turning around. So we never got to go to it, but it is on my list of things to do in Detroit for sure.
Yeah, that's less of a location that you would go to after like a game.
That's I'm sure what we were doing.
Yeah, I was gonna
For,
say
like, a
usually we're
concert.
downtown Detroit. Speaking of games, we're going to a Detroit Tigers game together on your birthday, right, Alex?
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Sorry, Allison, but
I'm sad. I
stoked
really
for a
wanted to
little
go. I just
reunion.
can't swing it right now, but that would have been
That's
really
fair.
fun.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. We're going to Michigan for a family wedding. Actually, my first wedding of this season is a wedding I get to attend, which is so exciting. These are
That is
few and
really
far
fun.
between these days.
And I get to babysit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Auntie
so
and
jealous.
Stevie time. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I'm
She'll
so
have a
pumped.
lot to say. She's very talkative these days. We can have her on the pod. She'd tell us all
Good.
about her life.
I
Allison,
cannot
what's your win?
I don't know. I've been busy. I guess so. I hired the narrators for the Trip Switch audiobook. So that
nice.
was a lot of auditions, but it was fun to get that finalized. And
You're like
yeah,
a casting director.
I know, right? It was kind of fun. But and then I finished my new book, and that's
ARC
getting
signups went out. I don't know if
yeah,
that's a
ARC
win,
signup
but
went out, and I just
got
ordered
the
all
email.
of my physical copies. So that's winding down. So I know, kind of in a way, feels like business as usual, but I'm like, no, that is a win.
Is
That's exciting.
it ARC arcs for Meant for Now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Which is
I'm
always, for
answering
those that
it.
don't know, is Allison's new book coming
Yeah,
out.
it's my newest book that's coming out. It is always the most, like, it's honestly the most nerve-wracking day over release day, because when I do the ARC signups, I'm doing like a few things. I'm ordering all of my copies, my physical copies. So I'm just like, fingers crossed that this goes okay. Like, it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm always worried I forgot a chapter or something. And then yeah, when the ARC signups go out, it's like the first time, my readers are reading my book. And so it's really nerve-wracking. Yeah, by the time release date rolls around, I'm just like, oh, whatever, it's release day. This is definitely the most
What's
nerve-wracking
the
day.
turnaround for like when you send out ARC signups to when you would see like your first reviews rolling in from those?
It's pretty, I feel like less than just a couple of days, honestly. I feel like there's always like one or two
It's
readers
like
that
right
are
on
doing
it.
it so quick. Yeah.
I only could wish. Sorry. I had a follow-up question. Can you explain for the audience what an ARC or ARC readers
Yeah.
are?
It's so ARC Reader, ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy, and it's just something that like indie publishers or traditional publishers send out to readers so that you essentially get to read a copy of the book before release date, and then, hopefully generate buzz or leave reviews or things like that, just so when release date rolls around, there's already like, you know, a star rating, and people can read other people's thoughts on it, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to admit something too. I signed up for it, but I am not reading it until release day because we are going to be flying on release day and I want it for our trip, but I don't think I'm going to be able to figure out how to get it on my Kindle in a different country. I don't know what it's going to look like. So I signed up
That's
just so
fair.
I could get it
So you could
to
have it
read.
like ready to go.
Yeah. So I'm sure I'm going to love it, but
Better than me. I'm like, I am still a book behind. I haven't even read Trip Switch yet, but to be fair, I'm reading so slowly
Well,
these days.
maybe you could wait for the audiobook at this point. I think I'm shooting for August.
Maybe I will. So actually, follow-up question. Are you going straight to audiobook with all of your new releases now?
No, I'm still working through my backlog and I'm deciding what's next. It's also a really big investment. So,
Okay.
I'm slowly chipping away. I just picked Trip Switch. I think I'm going to do the reality of it all next, but I'm kind of up in the air on what I'm going to do for my next one. So we'll see. But
Do
that
you
would
get
be
a
nice to eventually get to
royalty
the point.
from audiobooks? How does
Yeah.
the
So it's the
payment
same
work?
way. I'm just paying the narrators. I'm just hiring them up front. So I just pay the narrators for their work. And then I own the audio file outright. And then I just am publishing the audio file and I just receive, Audible or whatever takes their cut. But then I still receive like, I should know the percentage actually. I don't know what it is, but it's like a good percent. Like it's way, like if I was working with a different company who was doing it for me, then I'd only be getting, $1 a sale, but I'm getting all the royalties. I just don't know how much the royalties are.
All of them. Oh, that's awesome.
All of them.
Thank you for explaining. I'm curious about that.
and is the audiobook through Kindle or through Amazon as well? Or how does that work?
I'm doing Audible exclusive to start.
Okay.
It's funny because I'm not a big audio person. I'm getting into them, but I think it's my understanding that Audible is the most popular one. So I'm starting off Audible exclusive, and then I might switch to whatever the other platforms are.
Spotify is like literally the only other one I know of.
I know,
And, like,
I know,
Spotify,
right?
I think, comes with like a certain tier of their membership. You can have.
Let me tell you, it's the most annoying thing. If you have the family membership, you get 11 listening hours. I think it's 11. I could be wrong. So I do get them every month and I do use them, but it's so annoying because you just randomly like run out. So I'll be in the middle
I
of a
did
book
not
and they'll be
even
like,
know
"You're
that
done."
was a thing that you can max out on your listening hours.
Yeah, only through Spotify. So
hell?
it's annoying, but it's not like an extra fee. It's just something that they like started giving you for free if you had the family membership. So I'm like, I'm gonna listen to it, but it is annoying.
Well, Spotify is one of my favorite business write-offs.
I never even thought about that.
Need it for sessions.
Anyways,
Well,
that was
actually,
a candidate.
I think I wrote mine off, but I need to
Yeah,
double
you
check
should be
that.
right. I was gonna say
Yeah,
workouts.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, write that shit off. Anyways, trends. Okay, wait. How do we? So this was kind of, sorry, audience,
Impromptu.
a little bit dirty laundry behind the scenes here. This was something we decided this morning, and I'm just curious as we thought about what we were going to talk about for our episode today. How are you guys thinking about trends? Are you thinking a lot of social media? Are you thinking just like specific to your industry? How are we thinking about trends?
Oh, that's a good thought. I went social media.
Oh,
Okay,
I went specific to industry.
Okay. Well, I can hop right on that. That's fine. I consume enough content.
Do we want to kick it off
Well, I
with
think it's also
yeah.
something that we can discuss too to bring it all together is just the art of kind of balancing trends and as
Yes.
well as just keeping your business sustainable and like true to who you are.
Question, actually, kickoff question for
Yes.
everybody. How do you approach trends, the idea of trends in your business? Do you have a kind of guiding principle for yourself? Do you wait and see? Like, just what's the I have a philosophy on this. I can kick it off
I
if you
don't know
want.
that I have a philosophy, so kick us off.
I don't have any like hard and fast rules for myself, but I would consider how I approach trends in business very similar how I approach my fashion trends. Like I consider myself like very up on trends. I love trends. I love innovation. I'm very progressive, love all the new always. Like it's just always interested me. But I think you have to strike a balance with what's realistic and like also, I think if you hop on every single trend that's out there, you lose yourself in it. That's the easiest way to lose yourself is if you're always like, I got to do every trend, then that's a really quick way to lose your identity as your style, as your business. And it's a really easy way to go off brand as well, as if you are following every single trend under the sun. So what I think my approach is, and that I would also recommend to people is get really confident in like the core of who you are and like the core of your business, your brand, like truly understand who you are and how you want to show up everywhere. And then pick and choose the trends that are aligned with that. Like maybe you enjoy consuming certain trends, but that doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. That doesn't mean you have to wear the clothes yourself. It's like you can admire those things from afar and just be like, love that, not for me, and just have that confidence. And then there will be undoubtedly trends that will come along that are on brand for you or match your personal style, for example. And those are pick those up that they're on brand for you, so that's kind of how I approach it. I don't, like I said, no hard and fast rules. I'm not like filtering anything
Yeah.
through like guardrails or anything for myself, but like I kind of do a little gut check of like, if I am going to do this trend, does it feel on brand for me?
Something else to add to that I feel like I feel similarly, and something I always tell myself is that if I'm always wanting to do the trend or chasing the trend, then I'm always going to be late. Like if you're always following the trend, you're never going to be finding new things or potentially starting trends. So
Yeah.
yeah, I always tell myself if I'm always following trends, then I'm never ahead of things.
I feel
Mhm.
that. I feel I am trend phobic. I
Mhm.
am very afraid of trends because I feel like I am always too late to the trend game. And so it's just overdone and a flop if I ever tried to do things.
Already a flop. You haven't even tried
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's such a good point, Allison. And just to add to that, I don't think you have to be as in depth on your answer about this as a small business owner, but I do think it's really interesting. Like when we were going through business school, one of the things they talk about is like positioning. Like how would you position your company? Are you like at the time we were studying, right? It was like, are you a trendsetter? Like are you introducing things before the market even asks for it? Apple is really good at this. They like to introduce things that we've never heard of before that have never been built out, and they're giving people stuff that they've never asked for. Then there's like you kind of go down the trend cycle or whatever, and like the next tier of company is the one who's on top of the trends as they're coming out, so they're very fast. And then you have companies like Target, for example, which are riding on the coattails of like, oh, this was trendy a year ago, now I'm going to mass produce it and bring it out everywhere. So
Mhm.
like I think maybe a little bit of thought around you as a small business around where you kind of fit on that trend cycle would probably be a little helpful as well.
Yeah.
And then, so do we want to go into like social trends? Our favorite topic that we can't seem to stay away from no matter how hard we try.
Well, it's interesting. Like, I also just want to throw out, and I think we could probably do this for each of our niches, but there's a lot of different trends when you're thinking about small business. Because if I'm thinking about for me, I like, yes, of course, there's social media trends, which those I do tend to hop on because it's quick, it's easy. And then there's trends like, what's popular, like hockey romances or something like that. Like actually
Mhm.
what the book is, that is also something that trends. But then there's things like sprayed edges and these fancy hardbacks that are trending right now, or audiobooks are becoming very popular. Certain styles of audiobooks are becoming very popular. So there's just like all of these different trends like layered throughout the business. And I will say that I do think some things make more sense to go after than others, because it's important to recognize when a trend is just like a fleeting quick thing
Mhm.
versus when it's actually could be changing your industry.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Totally. I think I can definitely relate to that in the fitness space of like right now, Pilates is
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to think of what was even before that because there was definitely something before. There's always been something.
Spin, like when we were first in corporate
Spin
world.
used to be
Yeah.
so
Spin
popular.
was a big one. And I think that the way that I have always approached those is incorporating things around that, but I'm not going to just hop on like the Pilates vibe because Pilates is not my thing. Now, if something like mobility is also another big thing that is trendy, at least if you're deep in the fitness space, maybe it's not as trendy to the masses right now, but that's something that aligns obviously perfectly with my
Mhm.
stuff. So that
Mhm.
I will hop right on. But yeah, in terms of I kind of like you said, Allie, of finding which one or picking and choosing which ones actually align with you as a business owner. Like
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many people I follow fitness industry wise who have now become these Pilates warriors of we just do Pilates and what's so I'm not gonna I feel like we can all do this. So I'm not gonna do this too much of like getting down this ranty tangent. But it's like I see these same people who were just on a different trend and like now they're promoting a completely different style of
Mhm.
fitness and way of life. And I'm like, you
You're like, "Does that work?"
Yeah, because the whole point of about fitness
I
is
don't
that it's a
know.
way of life, and if you're constantly changing your approach to it, that's gonna be tough.
Right. And
Yeah.
like not
Kinda
that your
funky.
interests can't change, not that you're but I think what and I'm gonna stop after this sentence. What bothers me the most about this particular one is I feel like weightlifting and strength building and like getting a big booty we're in and those are the types of things that I think are healthier in the fitness space. I think what's come with Pilates is a lot of people are like you want the Pilates body and you want the tiny little waist again and I
Skinny.
think we're just
Yeah.
going back in that like scary trend of fitness and so
Yeah.
that maybe that's hitting a different chord but yeah that's something
It's so
I can't get
it's
behind.
just it is everything is cyclical though. It's so because it's
Mhm.
like this the promoting this we're calling it the Pilates body, but all it was is like diet culture back in the 90s.
Well, and
It
Yeah.
dressed
Pilates
up
was
as
very
something
popular in the
different.
90s too.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. But
We
like,
had a
yeah,
Pilates machine in our basement.
it'd be funny to look. Alex, oh my God, that would be a hilarious video if you could come up with enough pieces of old equipment to do.
Mm.
I remember this old sit-up machine that my mom used to have in the house, and it was like a sit-up bar that we would just like, I don't know.
Oh, we hold on
Yeah,
to it.
yeah,
Yeah,
We had
crunch
one of those
forward.
too.
Yep.
crunch fry,
Set up
yeah,
the
yeah.
twist.
It's
Oh,
like really funny.
it's too bad you'll never be probably in Chicago going to this gym, but there was this awesome gym that I used to go to in Chicago that literally was like a museum of old equipment. Like they had all the new stuff
Oh,
too,
that's
but they had so much
cool.
old equipment and it was so much fun just to like walk around being like, what does this machine do?
Hilarious. But yeah, I do think it's interesting because yeah, like trends are cyclical in nature. So it is interesting though to see cyclical trends come back with new innovation like social media. It's like we've never had these trends like the promotion of skinny bodies on something like social media before. That hasn't existed until now. So it's just interesting. I don't know, just to see all this stuff interact with each other.
It's
Yeah.
funny, not to bring up like a really topical thing, but this is just happening with the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I just like Gen
Oh,
Z is trying to bring it
yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and I think maybe for a different,
It's not for ALS anymore.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then someone was like, "Oh, this was a trend 10 years ago." I was like, "Was it 10 years ago?"
10.
I don't think that's right.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it is. Yep.
We just well, speaking of 10 years ago, did you oh my God. Did all of your social medias remind you of a graduation 11 years ago? I got all of those pics back
Yep.
resurfacing. I'm like, "Oh my God, 11 years."
Yeah, I wasn't
Fuck.
active enough to
Oh.
receive any of those.
No, I got them too.
I mean, I saw you guys sent me one, and I was like, "Oh
Oh
my god, I
yeah,
can't believe
yeah.
that was 11 years ago." But
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so let's dive into social media trends right now. What are you guys seeing either across the board or in your specific spaces that you're liking, you're not liking? Yeah, we can start it there.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know how I want to word this question though.
okay,
You're like,
loaded.
that's great, but no.
No. I mean, I think it's gonna.
I know that's not what you
I
That's
think. I
great,
think. I think it's gonna result in the same path of conversation. No, and one, I feel like I already have an answer to this. I'm thinking about like just just trends in general, like hopping on like a TikTok trend or something. And I was gonna ask, like, I don't know if I have the right words for this
You
question.
have to say it.
I want to say it.
You
I know,
have
but
to
I'm
say something.
okay. Maybe I'll just say this. My feeling when I see something like that is, unless I'm seeing it for like maybe the 20th time, which feels like still new enough to be like, oh, I'm realizing this is a trend, I immediately am just like turned off by it.
I love a trend.
Okay, so
Oh, are
that's
you
just
talking
me.
about like if you see a certain type of TikTok video where they're making some sort of joke and you're just like
Yeah.
I don't get, yeah.
I guess unless I think somebody does it like really well and differently, uniquely, differently. I feel like I
Like
just
maybe
said that weird,
20
but
times. I guess 20 is a lot. It really depends on the trend. I think some are funnier than others, but for the most part I do like when a trend, like we were just talking about, this is going to be so dated to whenever this episode comes out, but cuz
why? Because I'm
obviously
slow. No, I'm kidding.
Unless you're on the
because I'm
Instagram Reels,
I'm
then
going to
you'll be
make like
right on
yeah,
time.
if you're in Instagram Reels, because like the whole thing, like one gorilla over 100 men is like super popular right now. So I'm on Gorilla Talk, and then also somebody made a video about, they were just like they wrote, in 10 years when my daughter asks me or tells me that she's so hungry she could eat the name of the gorilla that murdered 99 of my friends, or something like that. And the comments were just so funny because they were like, this meant nothing 4 days ago. Like, we're creating our own language on
Okay,
this
you know
app.
what?
Alex and I talked about that in our episode without you, Allison, of like
Yeah.
when you're on TikTok, you have a different language than
Yes.
other people.
That's a lie. I guess I like a trend. I don't like a trend when it's trying to sell something, which is, I know the point of what we're all doing. No, and that's a lie, because I like seeing when I will say I do like when I see Allison hop on trends, because but
You
is it because
know,
I know you?
I
I
think
don't
that
I
know.
don't know what my feelings are.
I feel like you've always kind of had a little bit of an aversion to like transparent sales tactics. Like you don't like when somebody's just
Yeah.
like trying to like, actually a trend that is pissing me off is people on TikTok shop hustling in by way of like they're bringing up something like they're referencing a video where somebody was talking about health in some way shape or form, and then I think they're about to dive into a cool explanation or just like a debate or something like that,
Yes,
and
that
then
does
they're
drive me
like,
nuts.
oh, I've got the perfect fucking product for you, and I'm like,
This
shut the fuck up.
The
Oh
I will
skincare
my
say,
one,
god.
the skincare ones get me every single time.
Yes,
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
this
you
does look really
wasted
good,
my
and then I'm like, damn it.
time. I know
I
they
know.
get me every time too, because I think they're gonna be like a balanced take on the whole thing, and here they are just trying to sell me something from TikTok Shop, and I miss the link every time too. I'm like, it's always there. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah. Anytime I see, I realize the link is there, and yeah, it will take seconds to get there. I'm like, and
Yeah.
keep scrolling.
My favorite TikTok shop videos, though, which like obviously is defeating the point of the person trying to sell something, but it's like when they get something that they don't like and then they just put it on and they're like, "This is trash." Look, like, because they
I
said,
would respect
because you're
that.
contractually obligated to make the video, so you get like, I get so many like that where they are just showing the thing like, "This is a piece of trash," and it's still linked and everything. I think those are so funny.
I'm going to talk about just sort of a social media trend as a whole with the onslaught of TikTok is I love how unserious the internet and
Yeah.
marketing is now. I love that there are businesses like Wendy's like talking trash in people's comments, or like, the whole idea of like the intern at the company like just in everybody's comments everywhere and just being funny, like Duolingo kind of vibes. I feel like that's been a nice refreshing counter to the years we spent on Instagram where everything was so polished and you just
I
like
agree.
Yeah.
everything had to like, have such a strict polished message, and now it's just like unserious and fun. Hi doggies.
I know. No, I agree with that. I love the trend, another trend where it's like, I had the intern edit our sales video or something
Oh my
like
gosh, I
that.
Yeah.
love that too.
It's usually just them doing something fun, or like when it's just them taking a breath, like all edited together. Crack me up every time.
Love a good like thirst edit too, just like out of nowhere the shit people will be like just putting out on the internet. I don't know, I just love all that stuff, but
Yeah,
nothing I use in my business. I'm just talking about in general.
right. I know. I love getting into a comment section and seeing all of the like
Yes.
verified brands hopping on, or like they'll be complaining about something and the brand will be like, "Hello."
Oh my God. There is something that we did not say on our social media episode that I wanted to make sure I covered today. And that's something Allison shared with me. I had a hard time kind of like I feel like I do this a lot with new social media platforms, and we can talk about that in a second. But like, I have a hard time figuring out, especially when it's something kind of new, like TikTok. Before we were doing a lot of photos, video was kind of being shared, but it was not like the hero of the story. And then when TikTok was first kind of coming on the scene, I feel like I had a hard time figuring out, well, how do I utilize, like, how does it me, in this, and what's the right way to be using this platform? Allison, you told me that half the beauty of TikTok is the comments, like getting comments and starting a conversation and the comedy of the comment itself. And like it like completely changed the way I saw TikTok. And I love, and if you guys aren't seeing TikTok that way yet, I highly recommend just like flipping your mindset a little bit on that, because once you do, not only can you market by engaging with other people, like I am commenting on things all the time. And like there I am, Seattle wedding photographer, showing up in a comment section. And like if you have a comment go viral, people come to your page. And like I just think it's an interesting way to think about traffic on social media and how to utilize TikTok to your advantage outside of just the content you're posting.
I'm a big comment liker. I will
love
like that
and
comment.
I love investing on a video early. Like when I see a video, and I'm like, I think it's gonna take off. I'm gonna leave a funny comment. And then
have you guys ever had comments go
I'm
viral?
I think like 20,000 or something is, or like a couple, like something between like 10 and 50,000 is my most liked comment, which
I
is
had
pretty
a comment on one of your videos, Allison, take off, and that was how I knew your video was going viral. So I was like, well, my comment is going viral, so Allison's video is taken off.
No, like honestly, it's so funny because obviously I'm making videos every day hoping they go viral, but I feel like there's a certain satisfaction when I get a comment to take off that is not talked about enough.
Because it's like, look at my comedy prowess.
I have started using this. I'm not an expert at this by any means, but something I've recently started to try to trick my brain into thinking about when I'm posting a TikTok is, what are people going to comment on this? Like, is this something where people would comment on the, like, can I see the comments kind of going off on this video? And a lot of the times my answer is no, which is kind of making me rethink a lot of my posts. I'm like, well, what could I post that would get an engaged comment section?
Yeah, that's so interesting.
So I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I don't have the answer yet, but.
And I'm pretty sure the reason we were talking about it, because I was mentioning how I didn't like people commenting on my videos. I was like, I don't like people commenting on my videos. I wish I could just like it and move on. And you're like, that's literally the whole point. So ever since you said that, I feel like I've been thinking about it differently. And I think that's such an interesting strategy to like, how can you promote more of that, like that comedy on your videos, that kind of thing.
Speaking of like circling this back to trends, since we're talking about comments, do you guys have a favorite like trending TikTok comment? Like my favorite, for example, is I love when people are like, "Who's this diva?" Or
"Oh yeah, I love who is this diva."
God forbid they have a hobby or something like that. I love those too.
I feel like this is on a very specific video, but like when something happens, it's sort of similar to this is an original experience. I fear
that was my favorite.
But I have seen one that's like, I have never seen. Oh, I just liked it the other day. I've never seen. Hold on, give me a minute. It'll come.
Okay.
I don't mean give me a minute. Like I
mean
mean like
another
keep
one,
talking and it'll come.
Well, because I was trying to think of another comment too, because that is my favorite. The one of this is an original experience.
Yeah.
And anytime where somebody's like, I fear, I love that phrasing on a TikTok comment. Oh my God. Yeah, but
can you see? You can't see comments.
No, I wish I could.
That would be nice.
Oh my God, totally. That should be a thing. I mean, it would be insane.
But like circling it back to trends, there are trends I don't like and there's trends that I really like. But the thing is, if I don't really like the trend, then I usually just am not engaging with the video. And I feel like it's funny too, as we're talking about trends, because I do feel like trends to me are so much more apparent on places like TikTok versus Reels or Instagram. Sometimes I can pick up on what a trend is over there, but a lot of the times I have no idea what the trend is.
Eric again.
Sorry, Eric, Alex's husband.
Eric is being a diva.
Yeah. In the background of Alex.
And here's the thing.
Oh no, you have headphones.
Usually
He can't hear us.
No, he can't hear you. I muted it. I might need to mute him again, but two things. You're being very loud and it's picking up in this podcast. He's usually at the office today, so it's usually not a problem, but he didn't have to go in today, so he's out here. And our ice maker it's funny, when I first bought this fridge, the only negative review I could find on it was the ice is so loud. The ice, not the ice maker, the ice box. And I was like, that is, and granted, we had a fridge that didn't make ice before, and I was like, it would be a blessing to have a loud ice box, because right now we have no ice box. We have to make our own. And I will say, I don't know how they made it so that it is so loud, but getting ice is so loud. Like the scoop, I don't know if it's the hollowness of whatever plastic they use. It is so loud. So that is what you just heard.
That's funny.
It's just driving you insane. I love it.
Anyway.
Did that comment come back to you?
No, the thing is, I have it in my head, but I don't know exactly what they said. But it was basically like, this is a sentence I have never seen before. It sounds less funny now. I think it was more funny in context of the video.
No, that's like me and my family's favorite inside joke is anytime somebody says something really random or ridiculous, we're always going to be like, this sentence has never been uttered before.
Yeah, it's basically that.
I do like that one.
Yeah.
It was a while. This one's really old, and it's in the same vein of like, this is an original experience, I fear, but that's an inside thought. I really like those too. Yeah.
I love when the comment where it's like, what happened to like not putting everything on the internet?
Because that is kind of the funny part about TikTok is the shit people share. I'm like, oh my God.
A lot of the times you think like, oh, I'm going to post. They probably thought posting this video, like, oh, I'm going to get all these people that are like, me too. And
yeah,
a lot of times.
Comment section.
A lot of times it is. It's like the whole TikTok has taught me I've never had an original experience. Like so many things do relate to that when you finally get one that's not, it's like,
oops.
There's also like a trend or a comment trend where like, I don't know the specific phrasing and it's going to drive me nuts, but like when you come across a Hulu or HBO will post a clip of like one of their tumultuous romances or something like that, and then there'll be people flooding the comments who are like, I was really enjoying my Tuesday HBO, and they're just like crying their eyes out or something like that.
I've
been
been
getting
seeing
the phrasing wrong,
but
like,
because the party for you sound is really popular right now.
Yes.
And so all those edits have that
like
comment
you just ruined my day. Thanks.
Yeah, I didn't need to see this today. Allie, I feel like you might, I don't know if you've been getting this trend too, but one of my favorite trends right now, and I can't think of how to make this a book one, but where it's like the girl at like 10 or 9 and she's surrounded by like guys, or like she's at a concert and she's like me thinking, wondering if any of my brother's friends have a crush on me, and they're like
oh my God,
years older. So
my favorite one is I shaved my whole body for this, and it's going to a concert.
They're like 12 years old. It's funny because we all did that shit. Like, I know I did that shit when I was
Definitely.
12.
I did that going to the Twilight movie premiere. For
Oh
God's
my
sake.
God. At least we were like 15 for that.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there. But yeah, totally. Those are hilarious. Oh my God.
I will say,
I have. No, go ahead.
I was going to say,
change the subject. So
speaking of Gorilla Talk, you were the first video I saw on that Gorilla Talk. I was not on
worried
Gorilla
about
Talk.
that.
I mean, once I saw yours, I started getting more because I was like, I don't know what else I'm talking about. I know it's probably a thing, but I have no idea.
My worry about being early on a trend, I'm always worried that I'm interpreting it wrong because,
yes,
I have a trend right now that is being interpreted wrong and it's driving me nuts.
The butterfly effect.
That's another really good example. The other one that's going viral that is pissing me off is I forgot that this is what it's all about. And a lot of people who get it right are like doing the like, quality time with family and enjoying time in the sun and like all these other things. And some people are like posting things about capitalism, just, like buying things. And I don't know. It's
are
like
they joking?
I don't know. I don't think they are. I feel like because in the comments, it's like way to miss the point of the whole trend. It's just like, yeah. So I hate when people like, I don't know, just totally get it wrong.
But I love when people intentionally like misinterpret it, like with the butterfly effect. Like I just came across one where the guy was like, to think if I hadn't have booked this trip, I wouldn't be on this trip right now.
Yes. Like if it's like intentional like that.
I love when people
Yes. I will say there is that dangerous side of misinterpreting a trend. And I think in some ways it could just be embarrassing, but in some ways it's like, that was not meant for you. Don't use it. Like for like a fitness example I have that will always just like grind my gears is this is more on Instagram because it's more of a photo thing, but I'm sure people have done it in video too. But like this is me and this is me unposed, or this is me not bloated. Like that
Yes.
trend is not for the uber skinny girls who have one roll when they sit down. It just isn't. Like I think that there's people that do it right, like people who have maybe some extra skin from a pregnancy and then they hide it in this way. I think that there's different like ways
to
that
interpret it.
trend can be like utilized really well, and then there's like I would never do that trend.
Yeah, yes. To your point, there's a level of like read the room a bit that I think people miss.
Read the room. Yes, that's
Yes.
it. Like I think that there's a funny way to do certain ones. I think that there's a clever way to do certain ones. And then I think there's one of like, you just hopped on to try to be part of this trend and it was not for you.
And
Enjoy
then I think
it.
too, like,
you don't need to do it.
Yeah, and I think not just like the discernment of like, read the room on how people are going to take it, but also like I do think doing that gut check of like, is this hurting your brand or improving your brand? Because I think that some people, I think the thing with trends is like they're just like this immediate dopamine hit or something like that because you're hopping on something, but it's like really, think for a second if it is something you would normally do or not. Like don't just, I don't know, or if it can tie to your business. Again, it's like it's that point of you're not an influencer, you're a business, and if the trend that you're doing is not helping you gain brand awareness or sell something or something like that, it's like, maybe put that away. I don't know. Or
I kind of want to end the to loop back into trends, but kind of more general business trends, because I was like kind of curious for both of you too. I know Alex, you talked a little bit about Pilates, but Allie, for you, I feel photography is something that really goes through trends of what's popular, what people are looking for. And do you feel like that affects you at all? Or have you ever done something? Have you ever changed based off a trend? Like what's like really trendy now that you have no interest in pursuing?
So I kind of have the opposite of that example where I thought for a really long time that film photography was going to be a like here today, gone tomorrow trend. Because I was like, people just like the vibe. They, you can edit to look kind of like film. You don't have to actually shoot film kind of thing. And to be honest, I'm not like, I love the look and feel of film, but from a workflow perspective, I was not excited about getting into film. It requires that you go and purchase film, and then you got to get it processed, and then you have to edit that film, and it's expensive. And anytime I have to like actually ship something from my house, it sits in my office for ages. It's just how I am as a person. And so I was just not excited about introducing it. And I was wrong. Film is not it was not a here today, gone tomorrow trend. And mind you, this is like when I first started my business that I was thinking that. So that was 5 years ago. Film is still going strong. It's now considered like a part of what people would assume that you would have as a luxury wedding photographer. It's like almost a staple now. And I think people could say that about content creators too. Like I have a really strong feeling that content creation at weddings is not going anywhere. I think that's just going to get more popular. But yeah, I mean, of course there's definitely, I think what can be a slippery slope in the photography industry is any trends that have gear involved. I even right now, like Super 8 is really, Super 8's like kind of an old filmy video type of format. And I guess in contrast to film photography, I think video at a wedding, I think is always that question of like, are we going to invest in a professional video or are we not? It's not as a common sense vendor like a photographer is at a wedding. Like you always have a photographer. If you have a videographer is the question. Now Super 8 video is like becoming really popular, but that's also really expensive. And so I think what gets a little bit slippery slope in photography is like, what gear are you going to be investing thousands of dollars in? And it's like, do you want to be doing that? Like, so I think that can be, you really have to be smart about those things. And in some cases, it's not the worst thing in the world if you wait a year or two just to see if the trend's going to do something in the photography industry, if that makes sense.
Right. Because if it's here to stay, then you're like, yes, you might not be an early adopter, but it's not like you're super far behind if it does end up being something that's here to stay.
Oh my God. Editing styles are really funny though. Cause like that, like, so, this very moody editing style back when I first started my business in 2020 was like the gold standard, like really moody, high contrast, a lot of moody posing, stuff like that. And now it's completely different. It's very true to color. It's like, it looks in vogue. It's very like lighter and brighter and much more crisp and clean than the moody style of like the 2020 era. And that has been really interesting because it made me think, because it did such a departure in the last couple of years, that made me really value, like, I really should have more of like a timeless editing style
Mm.
that can last the test of time with trends, because it's weddings. It's like these are going to be
Yeah.
photos people are looking at forever. And so maybe I'm not the trendiest of the trendy editing style right now, but hopefully my style is timeless and will kind of stand the test of time. So sorry, that was a very long
No,
answer.
I feel like that relates to everyone's business too, because I feel the same way about like, because there's certain trends that I have to decide if I want to jump on or not. But one trend I'll never jump on is just like what's trending as far as what's popular in actual books, because writing an actual book is a lot, and they are something that stick around for a while.
It's evergreen.
If I write something because I think it's really trendy now, or because I think it feeds into a trend, who's to say that's going to be popular in like 10 years? So I think it's a lot better to just write what I enjoy, what I want to read, and hope that it is a little bit more timeless, or hope that it is not to say that there's anything wrong with writing to trend. I read to trend too. So it's like, I get it. I get why people choose to do that. But I think for me personally, it's a lot to write a book. And I think just writing whatever you want to read or whatever you want to invest your time in is like the most important thing.
Especially with how quickly trends fade.
Yeah. And I think it's one of those things too of like, when you're doing that gut check of it, is it on brand or not, or is it fit within your business? I think there are certain trends that feel like nothing to participate, and it's just like an exciting thing you can do. And then there's trends where it's like, I have to invest in new gear, I have to learn a new skill, I have to, and it's like that cost is pretty high if something doesn't stick around. And so I think also doing maybe that assessment too, to your point, like if I'm going to write to trend, that's a huge investment in my time, because it's an entire book we're talking about.
Just a quick question that's going to sound real dumb, but something you just said like made me think about it. When you do your film photography, you send those photos to the couple? Or no?
Like the physical photos?
Yeah.
No. You send in your scans and then they give you digital versions back. You can get your negatives. I just haven't ever paid for it.
Well, you just said
I
something about
totally envisioned you sending them.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
didn't. Something you said about sending things in or sending things from your house. I was like, wait a
Oh,
minute.
but it's sending the film
You mean the
from my
film.
house
Okay.
to the processor. Yeah, some people will
Okay, so
like
maybe not a dumb question.
Yeah, some people are amazing. They have their whole like how Allison goes to the post office every day to send out books.
Yeah.
Like some people have it built in their workflow that they have a wedding, they shoot a bunch of film, they go right to the film office and they send it out. And I'm like, I let it just sit here because anything physical in my business that's not that I can do on the computer is my bottleneck for sure as a business owner.
Okay. I have a question for both of you, and it's just a simple yes or no answer, I think. Should I start posting on TikTok again?
Yes.
I know. Why did I
What
stop?
were you gonna say? No.
You need to start talking.
I don't know. I thought
about
maybe
this
one
the
of
other
you would be like,
day.
Alex, to be fair, TikTok is kind of rough right now. I do feel like they're
Yeah.
having an algorithm shift because my engagement's been like the lowest it's ever been. But
I'm in 200s jail
we
for
gotta
sure.
just keep going. Is
but
the
the
thing.
thing that I think I struggle with right now with TikTok is I just don't know what I want to post. Like, it's not that I'm like, oh, I don't want to post because I'm worried it's not going to do well. I just don't really have, not that you need a full vision, but like, I just don't know what to post. I just don't. I know that the
struggle
stuff
with
I'm
that.
putting
Yeah.
on Reels is not really, like, it doesn't really translate to TikTok. So I need something there. And I've just been so lazy about it. And maybe it's that I need to sit and figure out what I want out of it. But I'm just like,
And the part of it for me at least was just like feeling like you need to like stop feeling like every single video needs to be your best work. Like literally just hit record and start yapping about something. Like I don't know. I feel like it's gotten a lot easier for me on TikTok ever since I started doing that. Just like anything under the sun. It doesn't matter. Like if it has to do with the wedding day, I'm just going to get on and talk about it. I made a video about like fonts or something like that and it was just random. It actually got pretty good comment engagement, but then I had some random troll who like commented on that like why is this even a video? And I'm like, why'd you waste your time commenting on it? And he deleted his comments. Like it's just like I think that's like the fear of it is like the content is just like, but say something. I think you could do a really great job like just hopping on and talking about anything like recipes, working out, like fitness schedules, like habits. Oh my God, you could make 5 trillion videos about habits and people would eat that shit up.
I think too, it's like just get out of your own head and just start. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm struggling right now with I'm having a bit of a posting block where I just can't think of what I want to post and I'm just not really happy with anything. But I'm just like I'm reutilizing a lot of old content. I'm just
Yeah.
forcing myself to do something. And a lot of the times you just like eventually get a good idea or eventually
Mhm.
find something that you're excited about.
Yeah.
You just have to like work through it.
The success is getting the post up, not
Yeah.
what happens afterwards. That's kind of how I've shifted my mindset
That's
to
so
it
fair.
too. It's just like if it's up, then I check that for my to-dos today, and it truly doesn't matter if it like takes off or not. Because also the beauty that I always loved about TikTok, videos from years ago will still be getting traction.
Yeah.
Like I still have
Yeah, I
videos that
know.
are, so it's like if you get it up today and it does nothing, that doesn't mean that like a year from now it'll be the one that's like your sleeper hit, still bringing in traffic to your page.
Yeah.
True.
That's always what I've loved about TikTok is I feel like no other platform gives you the reach that TikTok has the potential to give you.
It's true.
You got to
Yeah.
build those habits because I do feel like it's just so ingrained in me. It's like the only habit I've built is like posting on social media. I've built
Yeah.
because even if I miss 2 days, I'm just like, oh my God, I got to get something out on Monday.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I feel that way about Instagram right now. I
That's
just don't
good.
know why it's not translating to TikTok.
I will say I didn't feel that way about Instagram. Managed to shift it, so now I feel that way about Instagram and TikTok. But I will say, like trying to branch out into the other social medias,
Yeah.
it is hard to build a habit because
Yeah.
I can't figure
I
it
was
out.
gonna leave us here actually. So we, as a in our biz meetings and stuff like that, one of the topics that frequently comes up is like, what's the next? Because it's okay. We're all thinking of back to Instagram heyday in like 2016 when people just jumped on it and it was like the time to grow on Instagram. And then TikTok was the same thing. It was like 2020. That was the time to grow on TikTok. And I feel like the three of us have said frequently, like, oh my gosh, I really just don't want to miss the boat on the next thing. Have you guys been seeing anything lately that's making you feel like there's an up and coming platform? Or I don't know, is there anything that's caught your eye recently that you're like, I wonder if that's going to be a thing?
I was frantically searching with the first TikTok ban, and since then I have not even heard or seen anything personally.
Yeah, I'm struggling like because I know Substack is getting kind of
That's the one
which
I
do
kind
want
of
to
thought
post
of.
more on Substack because I do feel like it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a blog or something, and I do
Yeah.
see the value of it. I just haven't gotten myself to post on it, but I still just don't see a social media like that taking off in the way that TikTok or Instagram did. If that makes like I do think
I
it
felt
has
that
like
way too.
Just
a
more
good
visual.
niche of what people would want, but yeah, I really don't know what's going to be next.
Me either. Yeah. I was thinking Substack because I was like, I think that surprisingly enough, a lot of people that I've talked to who have really put a lot of time and energy into Substack have actually grown their audiences quite significantly. But everybody I've talked to also has like a very clear thing to be writing about. Like somebody has a magazine that they publish and it's like little excerpts that would relate to the publishing of the magazine. So it like makes sense that they would be on Substack. Yeah, it's one that I think I would love to utilize. I just don't think I don't think I have a very strong case for it that wouldn't require a ton of time.
It is
and
a lot of
energy.
work because even if you're just posting like a mini blog post every time, it's a lot.
Because I was like, if I had help with it, I'm sure I could come up with like something that could really
It's like
grow,
almost
but-
like too bad you don't have blogs on somewhere on your website that you might be able to utilize
I
to.
already have that.
Wow,
Yeah.
Allison.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
We already hired that out. It's expensive enough.
Yeah, but you could just find excerpts like and
Oh,
post
I guess
them.
that's true. Yeah, but I'm like, it's all the formatting stuff that takes me ages, like because I can't leave anything half-assed
For
visually. But
Called
that's
out.
a me. I know.
I'm so sorry.
No,
It's
I
just
like that.
weird on a Tuesday. I really have to pee, so we have to.
Yeah,
pause
my
this
laptop's
podcast.
gonna
We
die
gotta
too,
Get
so
the fuck
wrap
out of
it
here.
up.
All right, glad I said that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. Hope that you enjoyed our conversations about trends. Follow us on Instagram. We're at Biz Banter Podcast. And is that right?
Biz banter? I don't really know.
Why is this part of the podcast always like pulling teeth? Like none of us know our shit. We don't know our handles.
People
We
know
don't
what to do. If you're listening,
you got it.
you know what
You
to
got
do.
I was gonna say, there chances are if you are listening to this podcast, you found us somewhere else. So just keep hanging out there. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, at Biz Banter Podcast.
There we go. Cool.
Verified.
All right.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.